just how you did it. I mean, I'm just so shocked, and knowing a little bit about your background, how you were able to do it. It's just incredible. So without further ado, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you so much for inviting me onto your podcast and for me to be able to give some value to your audience.
Yes.
That's all that I'm about, is trying to give value to other young individuals wanting to get somewhere in life, have that entrepreneurship mindset or focus on their careers regardless. So Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of my story just because I know your audience might have not followed me or they don't know. But, my story is in a lot of the podcasts. So we try to minimize my story, but I'll give it to you in a little short version so your audience could understand, because I really want them to understand that they can do it too.
Yeah.
I met my husband at 18 years old. He was 22. We both come from very humble families. My parents immigrated from Cuba as soon as Fidel came into power, came to the United States with $0 in their pockets. And my husband's family were, Spaniard, Puerto Rican, American, but they were also very humble. No financial resources, let's just put it that way. His mother worked 3 jobs at a time, and his father, worked 2. We come from absolutely zero and really no leadership of, hey, entrepreneurship, right? But my husband and I both dropped out of high school without even knowing each other. We were both in Hialeah High, but he's 4 years older than me, so I didn't really know him. But when we met, when I was 18 years old, the thing that we had in common, we were both raised in Hialeah. We both dropped out of high school for, because we just wanted more, and high school just wasn't for us. I had dyslexia and a reading comprehension, which nobody really picked up. I diagnosed myself after having kids that I realized, what the heck, I'm inverting letters, numbers, and I was like, what?
Oh my God.
So, and my husband just had such a mindset of he was not going to be the same as his family. He had to break that chain and just get out there, and he wanted to be an entrepreneur. So when he meets me and we start talking and we go out on a date, he's like, I'm not going to be your normal 9-to-5 guy, working for corporate. So if that's what you're looking for, it's just not me. I'm going to be my own boss. I'm never going to work for nobody. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Back then, I swear, I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I was like, entrepreneur, yeah, great. I went back home and I'm like, what is an entrepreneur? I was embarrassed to ask. And then I realized 2 months into our relationship, he asked me to stop working and that we were going to open a business. And I was like, open a business?
Moves fast.
Hold on a minute. What do you mean? I don't have no money. You don't have no money. I have no education. You have no education. How are we going to start a business? He's like, don't worry about it. We're going to do this. So, I did. We let go of everything. We went into a business. He used to be a salesperson, and he had that sales. He's still to this day a great salesperson. So went out, ventured into these businesses. And of course, what happened? They failed. Because no resource, financial resource. You can't start a business with no money. Whoever tells you that's a liar.
Yeah.
We didn't have no kind of resource. We didn't have leadership. We didn't have a mentor back then. No clue that exists like it does now. But from all those failures, and we didn't open just one. We opened a couple. 6 months later, I get pregnant. And it was like, oops, now what do? We had no money. We were both living at our parents' house. Actually, my husband didn't even have a car. And we're like, now we're in trouble because he wanted to keep the baby no matter what. He was really adamant that we needed to. And thank God I listened to him, because she has been the biggest blessings of our lives. She's 33 years old today. Oh. Because of her, we both just hustled. And we were like, there's no turning back at this point. So we started learning that the mistakes that we were doing were not that there were failures. We needed to just learn from those mistakes and really take them in, write them down. Why did this fail? And we started doing that. And my husband has a saying that everybody that follows him, and maybe a lot of your audience do, is PMA all day, every day. And that stands for positive mental attitude. And we've carried that since day one. And always have brought in this mindset of let's not worry about the problem. Let's worry about the solution. So if you have that positive mindset at all time, no matter if you're in a good time or in a bad time, it helps you carry over for
Wow.
you to be able to get to that solution instead of drowning in the problems.
Love that. I love that.
So at that age, at 19 and 23 years old, we got pregnant and we had to go back to work. We were like, okay, there's no way we could survive on right now trying to be entrepreneurs. So my husband got 2 jobs. I got a job because I had to take, I had to take care of the baby. And
Okay.
we both went to work, but in the back end, when we would get home, he was still collecting. Back then, it was no internet. It was the USA Today paper, and he would go to
Oh my
the
gosh.
business articles and see what was trending, what was happening. And every opportunity that he would read, you can make $10,000, you can make $100,000. He would order all these, business opportunities, and we were like, still had that goal that we were going to be entrepreneurs. We weren't going to work for nobody. And in that journey, we come across a business opportunity for equipment leasing broker.
Equipment leasing broker.
What is that, right? So
That sounds like a rich person thing already. Like
we were like, what is that? We had no clue. But my husband was in the Better Business Bureau, and it happens to be that he had that same lead that he requested for the business opportunity. He had it as a lead to go make them buy the Better Business Bureau license. So the membership.
Interesting. Because he used to sell it.
He used to sell. That
I
was one of
see.
his business, one of his jobs.
Oh my
So
God.
he was like, oh my God, look at this coincidence, right? So he went, interviewed the guy. The guy said, hey, I really don't care about the Better Business Bureau, membership, but you are a great salesperson. You got yourself in here. Why don't you come work for me? And he was like, well, I was planning on buying your program, and I don't want to work for you. I want to buy the program and you help me,
Work for myself.
myself. And so that program was $1,700. We didn't have $1,700.
Oh, wow.
So my mom was an extreme, amazing person. And she saw that we were like, we wanted this, she goes, I'm going to do something. I have money put away from that we need for like the rainy day.
Right.
I'm going to give it to you, but you have to pay me back as soon as you guys can. So we did. And that made us really like focus on like, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to really focus. We're going to implement all the failures, really look at them and not do what we did with the other business into this one. Because number one, we have a baby that we need to take care of. Number two, we have to repay my mom. That was her life savings. Like really,
Wow.
like she literally had like only like $2,000 something of savings.
And coming from Cuba.
I'm like, we need to. So we really put our mind that we were like, we are focusing on this. We're going to be, with the positive mental attitude all day, every day.
Yeah.
And we're going to get this done. But we stayed working our jobs. And so my husband at one point let go of one of the jobs. And he was a waiter at night at the Rusty Pelican in Miami.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so he let go of the Better Business Bureau. He went into only to a nighttime. And I worked during the day. And at night, I would come home. And I would do, back then, it was faxing and typewriters. There was no computer and there was no scanning.
Wow.
So I would do the things at night. Meanwhile, he was working. At the day, he would go do all the sales. And like we were juggling
Incredible.
2 jobs, the baby, and trying to make this business work. So eventually, a year later, we were able to let go, both of us, of our jobs and really focus on that business. And that business went for 20 something years that we went from being a broker to a lender to selling the business for $1 billion evaluation.
Incredible. Wow.
So
True.
I'm giving you that short version. It wasn't easy. By no means, guys.
No.
It was not easy. It did not take us a year to get to that billion. It took us 25 years to be able to sell that business for that amount. So we really hustled. We were very focused. We had nothing else in our mind but persistence, consistency, and focusedness. There was just obsessed.
You're
Like
obsessed.
we were obsessed. And that's the only way that they ask me for my secret sauce or Bobby's secret sauce. We don't have one. What I could tell you is that we hustled and we were very focused and very determined, persistent, consistency. It was just that we had to let go of friends. We couldn't travel. We didn't have the luxury of buying, extra little things that we want. No, our money, what came in, paid our bills and went back into the business to grow. And a lot of people don't want to do that sacrifice You know, I went years without really going out partying, and I was young.
Yeah.
This was,
You were
I'm telling
19
you,
around this time, right?
well, at this time my daughter was 2, so I was like probably like 23,
23. Yeah,
about
super
23
young.
years old.
Yeah.
Super young, party mode, everybody partying, everybody out in South Beach.
Yeah.
And I was home working on the business and taking care of my child, right?
Wow.
So, but
Incredible.
we put in the work. Today, I'm able to enjoy life to its fullest and not worry about nothing.
I love that.
Nothing. I live life the way, you know, and within, again, I'm not one that either goes, Bobby and I, we don't go out there and say, hey, because we have this financial means, we're
Right.
going to go and spend it all. Our money still goes into the business. I still have a business that I just even opened.
I know, I wanna
We
unpack
still
that.
run our family office. So for us, it's about creating generational wealth now.
Yeah.
Now we have a 100-year plan that we're creating
Wow.
for our 4, 5, 6 generations.